Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is Yahya Jata Fanusi, the producer of the Jabari Lincoln Files podcast. And before we get into the backstory, I'd like to ask you to do something. We would like for the audience to help us come up with the name for a character. Which one? Well, think about it. Out of Jabari Lincoln's family members, you know, obviously, his wife, Sophia. You know his dad, Hakeem Lincoln. We've also mentioned Jabril, his brother, and his sister, Jamila. But we never named Jabari Lincoln's mom. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to give you an opportunity, you the listener, to fill out a survey, suggest a name, and then we will, take the names and come up with a few that we think should be voted upon, and we'll ask the audience to vote. So, what I'd like for you to do is click on the link for the survey that's in the show notes. Fill out the survey, put your suggestion, and then we'll follow up in the next few weeks and allow the audience to vote. All right, here's the backstory. My mom taught me never to drink alcohol. Well, okay, it was our religion teaching us that, but my mom made the faith-based prohibition intellectually compelling. One Thanksgiving weekend, when I was as young as 5, our family was driving back to Detroit after spending the holiday with relatives in Grand Rapids, Michigan, my dad's side of the family, who were not Muslim. Jamila, Jabril, and I were in the back. They were sleeping. I was thinking about the grand old time we had had with all of our cousins over the weekend. But something puzzled me. I asked my parents a question. How come Muslims can't drink alcohol? That weekend was the first time I saw wine poured freely at a family affair. Something must have happened that year because before then the tradition was that when the Muslim Lincolns made it to an extended family event, the wine bottles were out of sight. Now, at my age then, I didn't know the backstory, but legend has it that a deal was made sometime before I was born that my dad would bring us to Thanksgiving, but that his children could not be around folks drinking. So, no liquor was served. Well, that year, somehow the agreement was breached. I just remember seeing my Uncle Bobby come in from the store with some grocery bags. He went straight to the kitchen, and within minutes I heard this loud, acute sound of a pop. I rushed to see what it was. I saw my dad's siblings and some of their spouses huddling, eagerly pouring this yellowish, bubbly fluid into these wide glasses with slender stems. They were giggling and smiling joyously, but they froze when they saw me. Until Uncle Bobby stepped forward, unabashed, and said slyly, Lil J, unfortunately, you can't have none of this. He took a slow sip, as if for show. He held up the glass and exhaled as if he was refreshed. You better go ask your daddy and your mama about that. I didn't go ask my parents about it. At 5, I had a sense that what my uncles and aunts were doing was something Muslims didn't do, or weren't supposed to do. But the rest of the evening, I noticed some of the adults laughing more and speaking more loosely. That Thanksgiving dinner seemed louder than the previous ones. So when I asked my parents in the car about Muslims and alcohol, they immediately looked at each other. They smirked. My mom spoke first. Do you see this scarf I'm wearing that covers my hair, that I drape over my chest? Yes, I said. What's it called, honey? A khimar, I replied. Khimar is the term used in the Quran. Hijab, although popular today, is not the original word used for a woman's outer garment covering her bosom. Hijab means screen or veil, which a scarf typically is not. Well, did you know that the term in the Quran for alcohol is al-khamr? It has the same root as khimar. It means literally to cover. Really? Yes, and if you think about it, honey, a khimar covers something beautiful, a woman's bosom. Al-khamr, the drink, also covers up something beautiful, your intellect. My father chimed in. Son, a Muslim must always have access to his intellect 24/7. If you're intoxicated, you can't remember your Lord and act accordingly. You can't pray to him if you're drunk. You ever hear of a designated driver? My mom asked. What's that? My mom smiled. So that's when people go out to parties and they choose somebody who has to drive them home. So that person won't drink. They're designated to not get intoxicated so they can get the group home safely. Okay. Well, we're designated to not drink, she continued. To not cover the beautiful human intellect with drunkenness. We're designated drivers. Do you understand? Yes, I do. That brief conversation stuck with me. I took it to heart. When I got older, I would learn more of the family dynamics that also impacted my father's aversion to being around alcohol. There were certainly too many alcoholics in the environment of his youth. Folks are often surprised when I share that I didn't drink alcohol in college, even when they know I'm Muslim. Didn't you experiment a bit? Nope. You do experiments when you're trying to find results, to figure out something new. It was pretty clear to me where intoxication led, not because my Muslim family was above it, but because some of us fell for it. All of the Lincoln children didn't stay away from intoxicants, unfortunately. Interestingly, I made a good friend at college due to this aversion to alcohol. Freshman year at MIT, I was at this party the first semester, a frat house. The party got like college parties get, even at MIT. By 11 p.m., folks were wasted, including my roommate who I went to the party with. I decided to get some air and went out to hang on the porch steps where it was quiet. Sitting out there was Jimmy, also a freshman. Kinda crazy in there, Jimmy said. You got that right. Who knew MIT students got down like that? The great thing about freshman first semester is it's the one time when you can find out people's life story in 15 minutes, and it's totally appropriate to inquire and share the same way. Jimmy's dad had battled alcoholism. His parents were immigrants from Taiwan. He grew up in suburban Phoenix. The drinking almost destroyed the family business. Jimmy, who was Christian, swore he'd stay away from alcohol in high school. He stuck with his oath throughout college. We came from different worlds, navigated different family dynamics, but related evenly on so many levels. It's a trip how the briefest conversations can sometimes set you on a life-defining course. The way my mother explained our religious restriction against alcohol influenced how I would approach things spiritual and material. I held on to this premise: never cover something that is exquisitely beautiful, the intellect. Signing off, this is Jabari Lincoln.